it occurs to me that the one and done stuff, it can make a splash. Obviously, people in Los Angeles became familiar with Lonzo Ball pretty quickly this season. There are myriad examples of the one and done cases here. Is the fact that all four of these teams, the common thread with them seems to be that it's not about one and done guys. Rather, it's about guys who have been in the program for a little bit of time. Is that what the doctor ordered for college basketball?
Well, we'll see. I think what the doctor would have ordered for a perfect recipe for college basketball would have been if it were a bunch of non-one-and-dones on some blue blood programs. We certainly have that with North Carolina, but this is not a blue blood Final Four. This is a new blood Final Four. Gonzaga, obviously, is a program that has had a great amount of tradition and history and success over the last 2 decades, but not quite to this level. And then Oregon and South Carolina, of course. Oregon hasn't been here since the early days of World War II, and South Carolina has never been here. So you have a lot of good stories and a lot of programs that have built from the ground up. What I'm interested to see is if that actually draws eyes and ears to the Final Four. I don't know that it will, because usually in big sporting events, and you know this, Dave, with so many Super Bowls and Final Fours and everything else, it's usually the marquee programs or the marquee franchises that draw the casual fan in, because that's what drives ratings when you get to big events, is the casual fan. I'm anxious to see if this is enough. These stories are enough to bring that fan into this Final Four.
Well, as far as the narratives go, rather than the specific matchups and everything else, do you then does that equal that everybody is going to be rooting against North Carolina since they are the big bad bully that everybody knows?
I don't know that everybody will be rooting against them, because this is kind of a hard team to root against. Now, I'm sure there are folks out there who hate North Carolina and say, no, it's not a hard team for me to root against. But there are a bunch of decent guys who have weathered a lot of criticism that happened at the North Carolina program before most of these or any of these guys got into this program. Plus, they're the team that suffered the ultimate heartbreak at the end of last year's Final Four when Chris Jenkins hit the shot that ripped what they thought was going to be an overtime chance at a national championship away from them. So they're not necessarily the narrative of Black Bart in the old Westerns where he shows up and strolls in with the mustache that he's twirling and everybody immediately hates the villain, because there's some likable things about this villain. I'm not sure that they're going to fill the villain role the same way that you would think they normally would.
Yeah, and besides, that villain role's already been filled by another team on Tobacco Road. I'm not going to name names, though. That's not what I'm here to do.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.